Sometimes in life, you need to make your own breaks. Opportunities are not given, they are earned. Through determination, sacrifice, and a little persistence. Persistence that can take you from a small town in South Carolina to the bright lights of New York. When opportunity doesn't knock, you build your own door.
Deep to left, it's on its way, there it goes, and the Yankees are going to the World Series!
The Yankees are back on top, world champions for the 27th time.
I believe it was in 2001 when my athletic director at the time, Jerry Baker, told me, hey, there's a young player that somebody had mentioned to him up at Holly Hill, which is about 45 minutes from Charleston. You might want to take a look at it. My assistant watched him play and came back and said, you know, he's talented, but we're just not sure if, you know, he's a Division I college baseball player at the time.
Brett Gardner's story almost never happened. A 5'9" outfielder from a town with a population of just over 1,000. It's no surprise he was overlooked. Despite offers to play at smaller schools, Gardner figured he'd try his luck as a walk-on at Division I College of Charleston.
You know, if there's 35 or 40 guys out there, I'm number 40, I'm number 41, you know, and nobody really said anything to me after the first practice, so I just showed back up the next day, kept showing up, kept working hard, and eventually, you know, after, you know, proving some things to them, improving my game a little bit and getting more consistent, and a couple of guys getting injured, unfortunately for them, just kind of opened the door for me to get an opportunity.
After we were done with walk-on tryouts, the next couple of days, I believe Brett came by the office just asking his status. About a week later, we received a letter from his dad, Jerry Gardner, who played, I believe he played AAA baseball, just stating, you know, the attributes that Brett has and the ability he has. We had gotten a letter, we saw what Brett could do in practice. We said, hey, why don't we call this kid back and see what he can do? Stuck him in a scrimmage and kept letting him come out, and he never would go away.
I actually don't remember the time I was told I made the team. I remember it was fall semester freshman year. Baseball team had a workout, and I hadn't been told anything. I'd just been, I don't remember for how long, but just been showing up and going to practice and going to the weight room and getting my work in and doing the things I was supposed to do. And there were some rosters on the wall in the hallway. I see my name on it. You know, at that point I realized that, hey, I may have made the team, and I've got to, you know, continue to get an opportunity. And some guys got injured, some doors opened for me, and I tried to make the most out of it.
After arriving on campus, Pulowski and his staff quickly realized they made the right call.
Well, one of the things I was trying to figure out is how all of us geniuses, recruiters, and college coaches that we are, how do we miss on a guy like this? How does this guy go from Holly Hill, a guy who wasn't on any travel ball teams, didn't play in any showcases? Is this really what we're seeing? I think it was halfway through his sophomore year when I really started to notice that, you know, there's something different about Brett Gardner. He had a very good skill set, baseball skill set. It's just that it hadn't been refined yet. And I didn't know if we would see the best out of him in 4 years that he had at Charleston or at the next level. And certainly, you know, the next level, he's certainly flourished.
In 3 years, Gardner went from walk-on to mainstay in the lineup. Despite emerging as one of the program's best players his junior season, he never received a phone call during the MLB draft.
I think the initial disappointment wore off pretty quick. I mean, once the first day of the draft goes by and you don't get picked, and then the second day you haven't got picked by a certain round, you figure you're not going to sign super late anyway. So whether you get picked in the 30th or 40th round or don't get picked at all, it was going to be the same outcome for me. So I was disappointed at first, but that didn't last long. I used it to put a chip on my shoulder and use it as some added motivation to work a little bit harder and get a little bit better and put myself in a better position.
He plays with this huge chip on his shoulder, you know, because he wasn't heavily recruited, because he didn't have a scholarship his first year, because he wasn't drafted his junior year. We were prepared to give his scholarship to somebody else because he had a great year, and all of a sudden nobody drafted him. We're like, are you kidding? What's going on with this? I just think that's what makes Brett Gardner go, is that he is constantly trying to prove people wrong. You know, every time he goes out, I mean, it's about winning baseball, and it's about his teammates, it's about his coaches and the program that he represents.
After a record-breaking senior season, scouts could no longer ignore Brett Gardner. The Yankees drafted him at the end of the 3rd round in 2005, and his professional career was underway.
I remember one time, short season ball, I had only been playing maybe a month or so. I think we were in Aberdeen playing against the Orioles, and I remember looking at the board, and I think I was hitting 180 something, and really frustrated, really down. I remember talking to my dad, I think, and telling him I wasn't sure if I could do it, and he assured me that I could, and you know, just kept grinding away, kept getting after it, and you know, turned my season around and had a decent year with Staten Island.
Following his father's pep talk, Gardner rewarded the Yankees' faith in him, rapidly rising through the minor league system. On June 30th, 2008, his dream came true.
This is a big moment for any young hitter. You've thought about this your whole life.
You know, to walk out on that field for the first time, 2008, I'll never forget. You know, to make my debut at home wearing the pinstripes, it was a pretty special time.
And there's Gardner's first base hit in the big leagues. It's an RBI single, and the Yankees lead 11-7.
That was a pretty big deal for me. I mean, I was pretty awestruck to walk in that clubhouse at the old Yankee Stadium. You know, a little kid from Holly Hill, South Carolina, that's a pretty big deal.
Runner leads off second, 2 outs to 3-2. Ground ball through the left side. Here comes Cano. He rounds third. Here's the throw from De Jesus. Not in time. Cano scores, and the Yankees win 3-2 on the walk-off single by the rookie Brett Gardner. And for this one afternoon, a child shall lead them.
A year later, Gardner became a Major League regular and World Series champion. And over the course of the last 3 seasons, the legends of the dynasty years have faded, pushing the homegrown Gardner into the spotlight.
You know, not scared to speak up if I feel the need to, or talk to some younger guys, or help guys that maybe are first getting up to the big leagues with things, not just on the field things, but off the field things as well. And you know, I try to do my best at that. It's not something that I necessarily am completely comfortable with or feel like the main guy that needs to do that. We've got a good group of guys, a great team, a lot of guys that young guys can look to for leadership, and I'm happy to be one of those guys. His
first year, freshman and sophomore year, you know, he was happy to be part of the team. And by the time he was a senior, he was our leader. He was a guy that we could count on, that, you know, would always push everybody. You know, he was the driving force behind our team. And it's interesting, you know, to see how that's kind of evolved to where he is today with the Yankees. He's certainly that guy, looking at it from the outside, that's, you know, helped the Yankees get to, you know, where they are today, and obviously, you know, moving forward.
A decade ago, he emerged as a leader for the College of Charleston. And now the former walk-on is one of the strongest voices in the clubhouse of the New York Yankees. But even with a long-term contract and an all-star appearance, Gardner still plays like that kid at a college tryout.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have to play that way. I feel like if I don't play that way, you know, I really feel like I'm not good enough to compete, especially at this level. So I have to give everything I've got and get the most out of what God gave me to, you know, to be good enough to not just compete here, but to stay here. And, you know, the goal is to be the best, to dominate, and to do everything you can to help your team win.
His personality, his DNA, so to speak, is one where if you challenge Brett Gardner, he's going to find a way to either prove you wrong or prove that he can do that. That's the number one thing that has driven him. Great work ethic, great passion, great drive, but I think the biggest thing is, you know, that intestinal fortitude inside that has propelled him to where he is today. Because without that, as talented as he is, or not as talented as he is, I think what's inside, you know, is the fuel that has driven him to where he is today.
There were many times in his career when Brett Gardner could have quit. After a failed tryout, after going undrafted, after a panicked phone call. But his response to failure has written a narrative that few thought was possible.
The base hits, the All-Star game, the home runs he's hit, the great plays he's made in the outfield, all special. But to me, it's just seeing, you know, a guy from where he came from, small town, Holly Hill, South Carolina, 45 minutes from the College of Charleston, walk on at the College of Charleston, to not being drafted his junior year, all of a sudden drafted, and the rise that he had, you know, certainly to the major league level. I think to me as a coach, and to a lot of people that, you know, were close to him and coached him in college and teammates, I think that's probably the most special part of it, is where he was to where he is today.
You know, not everybody takes the same path here. Mine's obviously a little bit different, but that's okay, and it's a pretty cool story, and I'm definitely, you know, just very thankful for everybody that's helped me out along the way, from my dad helping me get my foot in the door at College of Charleston, and my coach at College of Charleston just giving me the opportunity to go there and play and improve, and obviously the Yankees thinking enough of me to draft me and continue to develop me as a player, and getting a chance to play here in Yankee Stadium, old and new. It's been quite a journey, and you know, my journey's not over. I've got a lot left, and hopefully, you know, the #1 goal is get back to the playoffs and win a World Series. So that's what we strive for every day, to get better and get to that point, and hopefully this will be the year.